My final thoughts on abortion. As a child born to a Christian family, as a child who memorized the 10 commandments, one of them being thou shalt not kill. My final thoughts on abortion. As a poet who overly introspects on day-to-day life, my final thoughts on abortion. As a poet who understands that every story has a beginning, middle, and end, so the story begins with a sperm meeting an egg, the middle being where she gets to experience the dilemma to let it live or to let it die. My final thoughts on abortion. As a poet who understands every story has a middle, beginning, and end, the middle being where society is always armed with something to say, like how he can be a 10, but if he uses an android, he becomes a 2. My final thoughts on abortion. As a poet who understands that every story has a middle, beginning, and the end will justify the means, my final thoughts on abortion. As a human being with feeling of highs and lows who knows what it's like to be judged, my final thoughts on abortion. As a living creature, sentenced to live life to see its beauty and ugliness, my final thoughts on abortion. Based on Bible, based on Jesus' New Testament teaching of judge not lest ye be judged, like let the one who is without sin be the first to cast a stone, my final thoughts on abortion. After seeing people being blinded by self-righteousness for some reason, sinning sinners, judging other sinners for sinning differently, my final thoughts on abortion. After realizing that the love of flesh has killed a carpenter's son, my final thoughts on abortion. After realizing that humanity's hands is stained with blood for killing an innocent man on the cross, my final thoughts on abortion is that none is holier than thou. My final thoughts on abortion. Let's not judge, lest ye be judged, for let he who is without sin be the first to cast a stone.